paying Zakat Al Fitr on children's behalf. Praise be to Allah, and blessings and peace be upon the Messenger of Allah. The majority of scholars, the scholars of the four madhabs, are of the view that it is obligatory for the Muslim to give Zakat Al Fitr on behalf of those on whom he spends. And some of the scholars narrated that there was consensus regarding that. That is because of the hadith of Ibn Umar, the Messenger of Allah, blessings and peace of Allah be upon him, instructed people to give Zakat Al Fitr on behalf of young and old, free and slave, those for whose maintenance you are responsible. Narrated by Ad-Daraqni, Clasolal 835. See also Al-Mawsu'at Al-Fiqhiyya Al-Kuwaitiyya 23, 338. Ibn Abd al-Bar, may Allah have mercy on him, said, the scholars are unanimously agreed that a man must give Zakat al-Fitr on behalf of his minor son, if he is obliged to spend on his maintenance. Thus this hadith became a guideline. So others who are connected to him are subject to the same ruling by analogy. And any differences regarding this matter may be worked out on the basis on tatbazi, his obliged behalf of anyone for whose maintenance he is responsible. End quote from Al-Istidkar 3, 263. Ibn al-Mundir, may Allah have mercy on him, said, the scholars are unanimously agreed that Zakat al-Fitr is obligatory for a person if he can afford to give it, on behalf of himself and his minor children who have no wealth. End quote from Al-Ijma, p. 57. Ibn Qudama, may Allah have mercy on him, said, he is obliged to give it on behalf of himself and on behalf of his dependents, if he has more food than he needs for one day and one night. A man's dependents are those on whose maintenance he spends. So he must pay their Zakat al-Fitr, as he must spend on their maintenance, if he can afford to give it on their behalf. Because of the hadith of Ibn Umar, which says that the Messenger of Allah, blessings and peace of Allah be upon him, enjoined giving Zakat al-Fitr on behalf of young and old, free and slave, those for whose maintenance you. End quote from Al-Mughni for 300 versts. The scholars of the Permanent Committee for issuing fatwas were asked, is it obligatory for a husband to give Zakat al-Fitr on behalf of his wife when there is a serious conflict between them? They replied, a person must give Zakat al-Fitr on behalf of himself and on behalf of those on whom he is obliged to spend, including his wife, because he is obliged to spend on her maintenance. But if there is a serious conflict between them, on the basis of which a judgment may be passed ruling that she is defiantly disobedient and that the obligation to spend on her is waived, then in that case he is not obliged to give Zakat al-Fitr on her behalf, because it is connected to spending on her maintenance, and it is waived when that obligation is waived. And Allah is the source of strength. May Allah send blessings and peace upon our Prophet Muhammad and his family and companions. Sheikh Abdasalinolika Zibun Minai Sheikh Abdullah ibn Gadian Sheikh Arazak Afifi. Entquopratei Mahlilifta 9367. Sheikh Ibn Basman himst. The Muslim must give it, Zakat al-Fitr, on behalf of himself and the members of his household, his children, wives and slaves, if he has food surplus to their needs for one day and one night. In 1497. Basé donc that, so long we're living in the same house as your father and he is the one who spends on you, then your father's giving Zakat al-Fitr on your behalf is valid, and it does not require any intention to give it on your part. And you do not have to make up what he gave without your permission, so long as he was spending on your maintenance. And Allah knows best.